Monday morning after my 21st birthday, and I am sitting in the Airbnb that has been our home for the weekend and that I've just kind of finished cleaning and still have an hour before I need to check out. But I thought I'd just kind of chuck on the camera and kind of like speak my mind and I guess what I've been thinking about the past day, or like the drive down and back, and just while I've been cleaning. I feel like I say this every single year, but that's because somehow it always ends up being true, and that is that every year seems to be kind of the most rewarding but hardest year of our lives. Looking back at my 20th year, I can't really pinpoint any huge like accomplishments or things that I did. Like, I know looking back at other years, there kind of seems to be, I guess, themes to the year or certain big things that I accomplished, but I guess my 20th year didn't really have any main events or big things that like really truly shaped me. But there were definitely a lot of rough moments this year that did kind of shake me up a little bit, and I guess kind of forced me to look at how I was reacting to things. And we kind of talked about this with my friends a little bit yesterday morning, and I just remember so vividly a night with my housemate after we had just moved from like, I guess, our dream home shared with our best friends at the time into a new apartment that was like a little bit more run down and like in a suburb that maybe wasn't our first preference. And during some ongoing real estate issues with the other place, I'm not gonna get into that, but basically I think that night I just really remember having that realization and I guess vocalizing the fact that 20 hasn't really been all that extravagant, and there hasn't really been like pinpoint moments that there might have been at other times in our life, like for example, you know, graduating high school or starting university or moving to a new city or all of that jazz. And I think that might have kind of been the first, I guess, taste of the essence of our 20s, where, you know, we might not be doing everything for the first time anymore, and it's not necessarily always going to be as exciting or, you know, monumental. I also was kind of very aware of how stressed I was letting myself become over things I just didn't really have control over. And I'm normally a very optimistic person, but that's not to say that I don't get anxious over things and I don't, you know, lose that ability to be like, everything is going to be okay, because sometimes you don't really know when it's going to be okay and when it's going to get better. And if I'm being really vulnerable here, I feel like I haven't really felt quite like I have had a place within myself, or I guess just really felt like myself. And I think my mental health at times wasn't at its best, and that's not to say that it was anywhere near its worst, but it just kind of wasn't necessarily easy to do the things that I was wanting to do and was needing to do to keep myself at that happy, stable level. Like, I know the person I want to be, and I know all the things that light me up and all the things that are good for me, but it's just been a stressful year at times, and it has kind of been hard to, you know, actually do the things that I've been wanting to do. But I guess now looking back at the stresses that came with this year, everything in retrospect has turned out okay. I was kind of talking to my friends about this yesterday too, and as I say, there haven't really been any major lessons from my 20th year. I think after kind of thinking about it a little bit more, I just really want to kind of bring back some of that safety of knowing, you know, for my past, present and future self as well, that things will always turn out okay. And you know, it is so normal to be upset or stressed or sad about things that happen, but there's just so much that is out of your control, and if you're having these big reactions to things that you can't necessarily control, it's causing you a lot more unnecessary stress than it needs to. It's kind of like that thing that people say about, you know, like worrying about worrying, where if you're worrying about something that hasn't actually happened yet, you're, I guess, like worrying twice about it. I can't quite remember how the saying goes, but that's kind of the gist of it. And I can just kind of picture a few key moments where I did make a much bigger deal out of something than it was kind of worth, and I guess kind of didn't tap into the more hopeful side of myself that I prefer to be in the company of. But yeah, basically I guess where this thought train was going, that everything is going to turn out okay, and it doesn't matter if you can't really like see that in the moment. I like to kind of believe that everything is happening for a reason, even if it's not necessarily true. It's just something that helps me make sense of the world a little bit more. And with that in mind, everything that does happen, even if it's not exactly what we want, is happening for us and not to us. And even when we're in the heat of the moment, where we're feeling all these big things, everything will be okay, and it's often not as bad as we might make it out to be. All these little, I guess, haps and mishaps all just create like a butterfly effect, and everything that happens, and I guess everything that has happened up until this point, has brought me to exactly where I I am right now, and it's going to continue to bring me exactly where I'll be, you know, in 5 years time, in 20 years time, in 5 minutes time. I don't know, just I guess even if I might not necessarily be, you know, proud or would absolutely want to experience everything from my past again, there's nothing that I regret or would change. And I guess every person I've met and every place that I've been to and every kind of interaction that you have along the way, yeah, as cliche as it sounds, I wouldn't be the person I am right now, and I wouldn't have all the amazing things in my life that I do right now as well if it weren't for some of the hardships too. So even though my 20th year was relatively uneventful in terms of huge like life accomplishments, I kind of wanted to say here's to all the amazing things that didn't have to happen this year, but they did. All of the friendships I've made and grown and I guess watched evolve, and all the amazing trips that I've been on this year, and the places that I've seen, and the wonderful people that I've been able to do those things with. And I guess also here's to experiencing all of this and more, because I'm just entering my 20s. So here's to many more seemingly uneventful little events that do add up and just create those compound effects and butterfly effects that, you know, continue to shape you and continue to help you to evolve and meet the people that you need to meet, and, you know, create the stories and memories that are yet to be shared. And I guess all of the unexpected joys and hardships that I can't even imagine are yet about to come into my life. And it's so weird to think about it like that, because I can't even really properly comprehend what this year might look like for me, because I've got so many plans and dreams, but it's just about taking the right steps that I need to do to make all of that happen. And I know I can do it, and I know that I have the strength in me to kind of set my mind to those things and start to, I guess, prioritize my own peace within myself over those turbulent reactions to things. And even if things don't turn out quite the way that I want them to, or if life decides to take me in a completely different, unexpected direction, I need to kind of keep learning that everything will be okay, and that I have such incredible people around me to support me through everything. And even if I feel like I don't, there are so many wonderful people out there all over the world, and you're never alone. And there's always going to be those people who kind of get you a little bit easier and a little bit deeper than other people do, and, you know, share your interests and ways of thinking and morals and lifestyles. And there's literally millions and millions, probably like over 1 billion people right now feeling just as lost and confused and I guess torn as we might be at times in our 20s, as we kind of phase out of experiencing everything for the first time. I guess being able to choose the experiences you might want to partake in, or, you know, partake in again, and learn from some of the other experiences that you've had that you'd rather not experience again. Anyway, I didn't make any notes or anything for this video, so I'm kind of surprised at how this came out. So if this is a bit disorganized and choppy, that's because it is, and it's just coming straight from my brain. Maybe you resonated with some of the things that I said, or maybe you're also in your 20s and you're like, whoa, this is weird. But either way, I'm really excited to be 21 and excited to see everything that I guess is yet to happen still this year. Thank you for watching and listening. I will be back next Thursday with another video. Bye.